coloring friends, welcome back to my channel. Show of hands if you have ever experienced a coloring slump. Yep, that you are not alone. I myself just got through, well, I'm still working on getting through a coloring slump. And I wanted to share a video with 10 tips of things I tried to do to work through the slump. I have them all here in this very aptly named When Life Gives You Lemons notebook, because that's exactly what a slump is. It's being given some lemons. And you can try to do what you can and make the best of it. And just know that in time you will get through it. So these tips are definitely not boom, boom, you do them and you're magically cured. That is not what's going to happen. They are little things, little tricks you can try to just get through that season. It's not a lot of fun to be in a position where you still love to do something, but you just don't have that motivation or drive or passion or inspiration to approach it. Um, so we're going to work through these 10 tips. I'm going to color while I'm going through these. I chose a very nice coloring book, and it is the Frolicsome Fall Volume 2 by Jareckie and Nicole Percy. I wanted to do, this is a very, very fall-themed book. This kind of simple page here, I'm going to try to jazz it up a little bit, but that's kind of one of the fun things about this book is the pages are less intimidating, more approachable. So I'm going to do some coloring, talk through the tips, but I think I might also intersperse some other little videos or clips or pictures that might go along with what I'm talking about, just to keep things interesting. So let me go ahead and move in closer. We will start coloring and going through tip number 1. Okay, I think I'm going to start with this guy here, and I think I'm going to make him a little gray mouse. So we're just going to get in here and get going. Hopefully my camera cooperates. This is one of those nice sketchy books where you can really kind of use the artist's lines to tell you where to put your darker shades and stuff, which I always like. Makes it way easier. Yeah, this is not focusing well. Let me see if I can readjust here. All right, sorry about that. We'll see how that does. I think part of it is the book doesn't want to lay flat, so the camera's having to adjust to that angle. All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, enough fiddling around with this. Let's go ahead and get into the first tip, and possibly one of the most important ones. So my first tip of getting out of or not getting out of even, just getting through a coloring slump is to not force anything. You want to take off as much pressure as you can on yourself. That means when you sit down, you're not that you're not trying to make amazing, beautiful artwork, but just you switch your mindset to just the process. It's about the process. That way, if you're just not up to creating this amazing, wonderful, best artwork you've ever done, that's okay. That you can say at the end, I had fun doing it. That's the whole point of it. Um, so you want to take off that pressure of doing something amazing, of completing 800 pages a month, whatever it is, uh, getting through all your coloring books, whatever that pressure is in your mind, just try to turn it off. We're just in the moment, picking up an art supply, choosing a page, and just enjoying putting color to paper, and that is it. Mood color galore. Whatever strikes your fancy in the moment, go with it. If you just want to color one flower on one page one day, just do that and then put it aside. Um, do not try to force yourself to finish the whole picture just because you started one thing on the picture. Um, you can go back and do that later when you've got that motivation and drive to get it done. Um, uh, this this is very relative to if you remember Marie Kondo, um, and her methodology on cleaning and organizing your house. Just think, does it give me joy? If it doesn't, put it aside. You don't have to get rid of it, but put it aside and wait on it. Choose only the things that give you joy, which is honestly a good way to approach your hobby at all times, but especially when you're in a coloring slump. All right, so that is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is try something new. So there are a ton of different ways you can incorporate something new into your hobby. You could try a new book, new coloring book. And this does not have to break the budget. If you can't afford to run out and buy a new coloring book, you can go online and find there are tons of places where you can find a free coloring page. Some of the ones that come to mind off the top of my head are Coloring Heaven. Their site has lots of fun free coloring pages. They have a whole backlist of them on their website that you can download and print out. If you don't have a printer at home, maybe you can do it at a library. I think it's just a few cents to get a copy printed out, so you could do it that way. What's the other one? It's Castle Art. If you sign up for their emails, they send a free picture to color, and it's usually related to the season. Monthly, possibly bi-monthly. I feel like I see those come through a lot. So that's another good one. If you can't afford to run out and buy a new coloring book, you can find just a new coloring page, something that is different than what you're used to coloring. You could look into a new artist. You could try out a new art supply. I just recently did a video where I hauled some new crayons that were out from Crayola and colored a picture with the crayons. You could do something as simple as that. And I definitely had a lot of fun doing it, and you know, it helped me push along through that slumpy feeling. You could search a new YouTube or Instagram creator and just soak in all of the knowledge that they have, and that might jumpstart your creativity and your desire again. And then lastly, you could find a new place to color. So if you always sit at your kitchen table or a desk. Try grabbing a blanket and taking it outside and sit outside and color. If you have a porch or a deck or a patio, take a chair out there and sit and just enjoy nature and color. If you've got a beautiful park nearby, you could try packing up a blanket again and a little snack and a few supplies and trying out coloring there. Sometimes changing up the environment can make a big difference as well. So that is tip number 2. Try something new. Change it up a little bit. Tip number 3 is make a challenge. So one way to do this is, well, for example, I have a coloring game. You may have seen the videos for that. I am not liking the shade of this mouse's skin. Let's see. Let me find an eraser real quick. That's not doing it for me. Actually, if I erase it off, it might help. Might get me to where I want to be. I think that first peach was just a little too intense for me. It's better. All right, a little intermission while I fix my boo-boo here. Okay, well, it's not amazing, but we're taking the pressure off, right? So, as I was saying, I have a coloring game that I play, and I have challenge cards that I made up for myself, and it's just things that take me outside of my comfort zone a little bit. For example, I have coloring a heavily grayscaled page. This might be too orangey. Oh, we'll see. I have coloring a grayscale page. I have color a page in one sitting as a challenge. I have, oh, what are some of the, color in an opposite season, which kind of goes along with changing it up a little bit. Maybe you're just not in the mood to color in the season that you're in. You could do a 24-hour coloring challenge. I see this a lot on the book channels on YouTube, where you just kind of set a timer, and I mean, obviously you have to have a day where this would work out in your schedule. This does not happen often for me, so it would be a hard one to accomplish, but it might be fun to see how much you can get colored in a 24-hour time span. And the way I've seen it done, you don't have to do just straight sit and color for 24 hours. You would just set a timer and turn it on and off as you color until you hit 24 hours. For me, that could be like an entire month, but who knows? Maybe I'll do that challenge someday. But yeah, just kind of ultra focusing on the hobby might help. Oh, and then of course you could always choose a book that you tend to avoid and just try to challenge yourself. For some people this might work. For some people this might be even worse. Make this slump even worse. So you kind of have to, obviously, these are pick and choose tips. Like I said, I didn't do all of these. I think I said I didn't do all of these. I haven't done all of these like within the last few months. But I have done all of these at some point in time. So that's tip number 3, challenge yourself. Make a challenge. Sometimes people feel more motivated when there's some kind of competition incorporated. And if that appeals to you, then that might be something to try. Okay, tip number 4 is a fun one. It is enlist some help. So sometimes accountability or having a friend when you're going through something that's challenging for you can really pull you through it. So something you could try, you could set up a buddy color. From what I've experienced in the coloring world, people are more than happy to join up for a buddy color. From what I've experienced, people have been wonderful about that. So you could reach out to your favorite YouTuber. You could reach out to somebody you're following on Instagram that you really enjoy. You could, if you've got real life friends, in real life friends that color, you can set up a buddy color with them, of course, or a relative. Sometimes you can find on Facebook groups that you can join and they do buddy colors, and you just hop on into one of them. I feel like it's a community where people are always excited to welcome new people in. So if you are lacking that motivation or drive, sometimes enjoying the hobby a little more with other people can really boost you up out of that, give you some motivation. Yeah, so that's number 4. Enlist some help. Find a friend. Phone a friend. Then let's see. So we're on number 5. It's hard to color and keep up with my tips here. I am just really not happy with the color tone of this poor little mouse. That peach is just way too intense. Oh boy. Okay. So 5 is treat yourself. Shiny new things are fun. You can, like I said before, you can buy something new, or you can find free things online. Like I was talking about before, you can try yard sales and thrift stores and all that kind of stuff. There are ways to make the hobby more affordable and accessible, and yeah, sometimes having a new thing is fun and enough to reignite that passion for coloring. Number 6 is, instead of buying a shiny new thing, shop your stash. I don't know about anybody else, but I have a very wide collection of coloring books and pencils as well. Here, I'm very fortunate to have that. But even if you just have a handful, maybe flip through what you've got and find an old favorite and pull it out and get inspired again. All right, I think I am done with this little guy. I'm going to move on to, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm using just Starjoy, just the Starjoy original set of pencils, because they were out next to me and that's what I had available. The other thing with going through your stash is not just rediscovering something that you loved in the past and maybe haven't touched in a while, but also reminding yourself of all the beautiful coloring that you've done in the past. So sometimes it's fun to just flip through and take a look back at pages that you've completed. And you might go, oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. And oh, I'd like to color the page that's right next to it, or, different things like that. Sometimes just looking back at what you have accomplished can make you motivated to do more. So, not just appreciating your stash and what you have, but also what you've done can really help too. All right, and then let's see, number 7. Gotta flip my notebook here. All right, number 7. This is a big one for me, for sure. This I use frequently, not just when I'm in a slump, but to prevent a slump. This one speaks to my soul for sure. It is relieve any decision fatigue. So sometimes, for me at least, one of the challenges of getting into coloring after a work day, after a busy day, after a busy weekend, when life gets crazy, one of the hindrances for me is having to make a decision on what to color, on what to color it with, on what colors to make things. There's a lot of decisions that go into coloring a page, and sometimes I do not have the mental capacity to make the decisions. So I have a couple of things I do to get around that. One of the things is have someone else choose what you color. So I will, sometimes it's just free reign, go in to where my books are and pull out a book for me. Sometimes it's as much as pull out a book and pick out a page for me, depending on how badly I don't want to make a decision. Um, Now, granted, if you want to give yourself veto power, that's fine. But I have been known to do that before. And, or you can do where you choose the page, but have them choose a limited color palette for you to use. So, recently I wanted to color a mandala, but I did not want to have to choose the colors that were going into it. So I had my oldest go through a pack of gel pens and pick out 5 colors, and I used those 5 colors to complete the mandala. And it was a good time. And it was colors I would not have picked, so that was kind of fun too. So another idea for not having to choose the colors is to fall back on a preset color collection. I know there's the blocks. I'm blanking on her name. Claire, I think. I will try to link that, but she has that color cube, which looks really cool. I definitely have my eye on it. It's been out for a while, I think, but that has really neat cards with color palettes on it. Or you can go to Coloring Heaven again, and they have a whole page full of color palettes that you can use also as inspiration. So you could just choose one of those, match your colors, and away you go. That's another good option. And like I said, sometimes it's just nice not to have to pick the colors. Sometimes you just want to color and you don't want to have to make those decisions. And the ultimate option for relieving decision fatigue is color by number pages. So just get yourself a color by number and just follow the codes and fill it in. It's a good relaxing time. And I think, to me, a nice reminder of why I love coloring. It's like, just put some pretty colors on paper. That's That's the best part about it. Boy, I am not happy with my color choices today. It's just not going the way I wanted to. That's okay. We're relieving the pressure. Gotta remember that. All right, so we are up to number 8. Number 8 is go for an easy win. Um, Much like the previous suggestion, color by number. That's an easy win. It's low stakes, easy to color for the most part, depending on the color by number. There are some challenging ones out there, but for the most part. And you end up with something pretty in the end that you colored. Go for a small or mini image. There are lots of books out there, lucky for us now, that have smaller images to color. So there's the there's the Camellia Androkova ones that are the miniatures. She's got bunches of miniature books. There is Johanna Basford's Small Victories. There's, I can't think of them all now. I know Rita Berman's have a lot of little mini areas that you can color. And I'm sure there's more that I'm not thinking of. I'm sure there's more that I'm not thinking of. But pick a mini image to color. As Johanna Basford says, give yourself a small victory. And that can do wonders for getting you out of a slump and into coloring again. Create a smaller goal for yourself. It doesn't have to be a mini image, but you can take a page and even if it's a big page, I've seen, who have I seen? I think Erica from Elm Colors. I've seen her, and I'll try to link her channel. I've seen her do, I think, where she creates a grid on the paper and then, attacks it that way in a grid form, which I'm pretty sure it was her who did that. Hopefully I don't have that wrong. But she made herself a smaller goal within the page that way. You can also, without having to do a grid, just say, like, I could say, I don't want to color this whole page today. I just want to color the erasers on the page. And then I do that, and I'm done for the day. Sometimes just having that, again, a small victory, a small success, a small step into getting a page done can really help push you forward. You can finish a whip that was close to being done. So if you, let's say you flipped through all your books that you've got in your collection and you found a page that was so close to being done, maybe pull that out and just sit down and get it done, because it can feel really good to have that finish. And then also, especially if it's a finish that had been sitting out for a while undone, that can feel wonderful. That is something I did recently within my coloring slump, was sat down and worked on I think it was 2 different whips that I had out. And whip is work in progress if you're not sure what that is. But yeah, I definitely did at least one of those where I was like, okay, I don't really want to color anything, so let's just color something at least. And I just pulled out a page that had been outstanding for a while and finished it. And it felt really, really good. All right, so that is number 8. Easy wins. Okay, so number 9. Number 9 is use that outside inspo. So there is a world of inspiration out there thanks to uh, social media. So you can search YouTube and Instagram for maybe you picked out that new art supply, but you're not quite sure how to put it to the best use. Or maybe you found that new artist, but you want to see some of their pages colored. You can search that on YouTube or Instagram and see what other people have done with it. And that can be a good source of inspiration for jump starting you working on it. You can join, like I said, join a new Facebook group. You'll get to see a lot of what they've completed. I know there's lots of encouragement that goes on in those groups. Join in whatever fun project or challenge or focus that they're doing for that time period. Maybe they're not doing a specific color along of a page or a book, but maybe they're saying, let's color fall leaves this week. And then you can join in and see what all the other people are doing with that, and then also get to share your own work, which is fun too. Oh, you can try a copycat color. So there are books that have the finished pictures as examples, and this kind of goes along with the decision fatigue, where if you can just kind of look and follow along with colors and shading that somebody else has already done and try to reproduce it, that can be fun. It can be a challenge. And then also take away that pressure of choosing the colors just right. And I don't know if I wanted that to be brown. Oh well, that's okay. Yeah, take away the pressure of figuring it all out yourself. And you can always put your own spin on those too, but and last, you can lean into the season. So, of course, whenever a new season comes around, you're going to see lots on social media and just in your environment relating to that. So, of course, now we're seeing, at least in my neck of the woods, lots of fall things. So, lean into that, lean into the colors, lean into the nature around you and whatever's going on in life around you, and incorporate that into your whatever your coloring choices. And that can be fun too, because I know for me, I can look back on pages and have very vivid memories of coloring those pages and what was going on at that time in my life. And it's almost like journaling, but with art. I don't know, maybe that's a weird thing to say, but I feel like that's what it is for me. I can look back at pages and remember what was going on in my life during those pages. So yeah, lean into that. And then we are up to number 10. And number 10 is, oh, I forgot. I had a caveat with number 9. Number 9, with the leaning into social media and what other people are doing, only to the point where you can handle it. Only to the point where it's not dragging you down by making you feel like, oh, look at all these beautiful things. I can't do that. If that's going to be your reaction to it, don't do it. It's not meant to pressure you or to compare or be like this, that, and the other person. It's meant to be inspiring and uplifting and encouraging. Um, if you're not going to get that takeaway from it, I would not do that tip. Or do it in a different way. Just like I said, lean into what's around you. Be inspired by what's going on in your life. Um, but in no way should you compare yourselves to somebody else. So we are all on our own coloring journeys, and comparison is the thief of joy. I strongly believe that. All right, so now we're on number 10. Number 10 is take a break. Sometimes you can't force it. And as sad as that is to say and accept, I had to do it myself over the past couple of months. And that was just what was best for me. And it felt weird and it felt uncomfortable to a certain extent, saying, okay, I just can't do this right now. Like, this is not what I really want to do, so I can't force it. But I did tell myself that I knew that whenever I wasn't reaching for coloring every evening and maybe doing a different craft or spending my time doing something different, that it was not going to be forever. I knew I still really love coloring and that I would come back to it. And it just takes realizing that time will heal that, whatever that separation is between you and the hobby. So it's okay. It's okay to step away. It's okay to enjoy another hobby for a little bit, or even for a long time. It's okay to step away and do something different. It's absolutely okay. And sometimes that is the best thing you can do, is step away from it, give it a little time, and let that passion come back naturally. Maybe the most obvious tip, but to me, honestly, it was the hardest one to do. So, um, so that is it. Those are my 10 tips for working through a coloring slump. Now, like I said, am I completely cured and back to normal and great and wonderful? Certainly not. I have, like I said, I did do the step away idea, and um, got more into sewing. So I've been doing a bunch of that too. I've always loved reading, so although I was even slumping with my reading. So, sometimes that's just the way it is. But yeah, so at this point, I, of course, still love coloring, still fitting it in when I can and it feels good, but I am still incorporating those other hobbies in my life and trying to allow time for those too. Um, I'm getting that. I was looking through my books earlier for this video, and I was starting to get that where you look through books and you like colors pop into your head, little inspiration ideas on how to handle a page and that kind of thing. I was starting to have that come back today. So it was okay, sorry about that. I had a kid needing something, so I had to have a little break there. But I think I was saying I'm starting to have that like glimmer of um, inspiration come back to me, which is really nice. It's a nice feeling to have that come back because that was kind of missing for a little while. But yeah, it takes some time and patience with yourself, I think. Those are the most important things. And that is it. So here I thought this page I'd get through it before I finished all the tips, and I am such a slow colorist that I only got a very small chunk of the page done, but I'm going to keep plugging away at this. Hopefully you will see it in a finished pages video at the end of the month because I'm enjoying it so far. Hopefully some of these tips helped you out or will help you out in the future. And just know you're not alone if you're feeling slumpy because I think we've all experienced it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have happy coloring, happy coloring thoughts to all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.